Welcome in. We're going to go ahead and get started. If you would do a quick check of your microphone and just make sure that you are muted. Our material today is going to be pretty involved. We've got a full agenda today. We've got some specialists from the department that is also going to be presenting some progress updates on their programs. And so we're really looking forward to get started there. I'm really thankful today that Rachel is going to lead us off. And so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, get started, kick it over to Rachel. And guys, as always, chat function's open, use it.
Good morning. Okay, so today we're going to talk about housekeeping and the agenda for MAPS, and then also we're going to start reviewing what we know about the ECF referral list. Then we're going to move to the MAPS employment update. Then we're going to hear from our housing director for the housing initiative. We're going to talk about end of year reminders at the end. So first, as always, we're going to celebrate our wins. So we have 20 provider agencies statewide, and we also just approved 2 new agencies to join our network within 90 days. We have 708 participants enrolled. So our target is 1,000 by December. So we are right on target for that. We have 513 T-Mobile devices deployed. 50 personal devices have been equipped. 223 completed facilitations with another 58 in process and 35 new referrals. So total ET at 316, so up from 292. 967 milestones have been validated. Home safety, of course, is our leader with 99. 329 VCRMs have been validated. 232 ET post-claim submissions validated. 2725 validation requests received. That's up from 2387. So that's a huge increase. 409 denied, but we still have around an 85% approval rate for milestone validation. So great job, Charles Lee Center and all providers for getting that in and getting that in so quickly. We have 134 denied on account of insufficient evidence. So that's really not that bad. It's right below 5% of the total. And our MAPS team conducted an info session on 6/25 to people on the ECF referral list. We are actively working on communication for those folks currently in MAPS on the ECF referral list. So, as you guys know, most of the information is unknown on how this is going to look and how this is going to proceed. We are aware, and probably many of you are aware, that as of 7/1, we have, I think they have like 2,500 slots they're opening. So there is the potential for MAPS participants to choose to go to ECF, but we don't know how that's going to look, and we're still working with our communications teams to see how that's going to look, and we will share updates as we receive those. So in lieu of this and trying to prepare, we want our stakeholders to have as much information as possible with the differences between MAPS and ECF choices. So we want them to be able to make an informed decision, and we've developed handouts to share with the network. So we do intend on delivering MAP services up until the point where ECF supports begin for those participants who do select to switch from MAPS to ECF. So this is just a sample of what the materials look like that have been approved by communications to go out. So we really wanted our participants to know what questions to ask when it came to deciding between ECF choices and MAPS. So we really want them to understand what their benefit group is, understanding what they're eligible for, what services are offered, if they can move to a different group, if their needs change, and if they decline ECF choices, can they apply in the future? And then we go into provider capacity. So just making sure they're asking questions about if there's provider capacity where they live, if agencies are accepting new participants, which agencies are accepting the group they've been deemed eligible for, providers, if they're serving specific age groups or populations, and if you're choosing ECF, will your MAPS provider be able to provide ECF services? And then also questions about what the annual budget is and if additional funding is available. And then we have this checklist that we recommend. We're not going to tell you exactly what you can say and what you should say, but this can just give you an idea about what you can tell your participants if they're asking you questions about ECF choices and maps. You can go to the next slide, Jay. And I will hand it off.
Hello, everyone. So our employment team is on here to share some exciting employment resources and ideas, and also just so you all know who they are and that they are experts in all things employment services through DDA. So in meeting with our employment team, we talked about a couple revisions needing to be made to the employment service definition. So we want to ensure that our employment services align with all other DDA employment programs. So just a few revisions that were made to that employment innovation service definition. So the first change surrounds that pre-employment and employment innovation milestone. So initially we noticed that there was a little bit of conflicting information in the language that might have created some confusion and overlap between the two milestones. So that language has been revised to provide more clarity to providers, innovation coordinators, and participants and their families as they're going through the milestone selection process. We wanted to address the language specifically surrounding the interviewing and job placement in both milestones. You can go to the next slide, please, Jay. Thank you. So for the pre-employment milestone, it's intended to capture all employment-related tasks up to the procurement of actual employment. So that will also include applying for positions and completing an interview. So when the person has demonstrated ability to complete an interview, the provider may submit for the validation of the pre-employment milestone. So please note that all of the expectations continuing to surround the pre-employment milestone in the billing resource guide up to this point with benefits counseling, transportation planning, et cetera, are all still applicable to the pre-employment milestone. It's just going on to include that addition of interviewing for jobs, which a lot of you are already working on practicing interviews and applying for jobs while you're working on pre-employment with your participants. The next update falls with that employment innovation milestone. And so when a person has progressed to obtaining a job or procuring an actual employment position, then employment innovation should be pursued. So that milestone begins basically day one on the job for the person supported. So when the person procures an employment position and it extends to the first date of employment for the participants, organizations will provide the adequate job coaching supports while introducing technology as a function of this milestone to assist the person supported to achieve independence while employed. So a person obtains a competitive integrated employment position and works for 30 days with any necessary supports to learn job functions performed by a job coach and/or job developer. So again, still staying the same, just looking at that employment services start day one on the job. Pre-employment is everything up to obtaining that job. So looking at the path outlined here with a couple notions, pre-employment, under it, you will still see exploration, discovery, transportation, logistics, referral to benefits counseling, and then that application and interview process. Under employment innovation, the application interview is conducted prior to day one, the job is procured, and then job coaching and placement takes place for a minimum of 30 days in the employment setting. And then if you go further into that final employment milestone of that employment independence achieved, then if there was a job coaching plan in place, there is now a fading plan. Job coaching has successfully faded out of supports, and then successful placement for 30 days without job coaching. And then again, following back up with benefits counseling assessment. That benefits counseling assessment is needed to be verified. And so the difference in pre-employment is benefits counseling, the referral is just made. Independence achieved is that benefits counseling Am I back?
Yes, we lost you for a
Oh,
minute
good.
after you
I
said
was
benefits
gonna say.
counseling.
Great. Did you all hear me wrap up that last slide?
No, you stopped at benefits counseling assessment will need to be verified.
Okay, and so thank you for that, Ebony. So for the benefits counseling assessment needing to be verified, so unlike pre-employment where that referral is just made to benefits counseling, for employment independence achieved, that final employment milestone, the actual benefits counseling appointment would need to take place where the benefits counselors actually conduct that employment assessment with the participant. Next slide. So I'm going to turn it over to Carrie and the rest of our DDA employment team to continue to give you all some more information and resources.
Great. Thank you, Bree. I don't know. There was a question in the chat box. Are you wanting to take the chat question first, or do you want to take questions at the end, Bree?
Gary, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and I'm answering the question as we speak. Go ahead.
Perfect. All right. Thanks. Great. Good morning, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Carrie Berna. I am the Director of Employment Innovation and Community Inclusion. And I have my 3 Employment Innovation Coordinators on the call. And I'm just not seeing everybody. But anyways, hopefully you can see them. We've got Dee Granberry. She serves the West region. We've got Allie Beth Freeman. She serves the middle, and Judy Pate serves the east. And so they all will be presenting some slides. And our intent today is to come here. We want you all to get to know us, be comfortable coming to us with referrals. Truly, we want to support you all in these employment conversations. We are a resource to you. Please utilize my team. We've had some great successes when they come in and sit down with people supported and their support team and kind of talk through employment and what it could look like for them and kind of help break down the services. And so all that to say, please do reach out to us at any point. Also, part of my team is the benefits counseling program. Those counselors aren't on today's call, but hopefully you all are familiar with them. But if you're not, we have their contact information listed on one of the slides. Please do reach out to them. They are great and responsive. And as you saw in those milestone breakdowns, benefits counseling needs to be part of someone's employment journey from the beginning to the end. And so definitely reach out. We are available to help. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so when we sat down and we were trying to pull together slides and trying to pull together tech resources and ideas and how to use tech and how to get creative with employment services, and admittedly, this is a really big ask. And it's a big ask because it's such an individualized process for everybody. And as you know, that we've got tech coming in and out every day. There's so many great ways to utilize tech. And so really our intent isn't to give you a full list of options. Our intent is really just kind of get you thinking about different ways to utilize technology through employment services, kind of help you prompt you with some ideas on where and when to incorporate technology. But truly, once you get down to the individualized approach, again, reach out to us, reach out to Tech Champions. You have a great support network within DDA, and we can really talk through those individualized options. And so this slide here is just, our intent is to get you thinking about where can I incorporate technology? And truly, the answer is at every point in someone's employment journey, you can utilize tech. We've got some great technology options from pre-employment all the way through career advancement. We've seen some great technology being used to help people prepare for work, help them learn about different career opportunities, help them understand what their skills are, what their interests are, help them build those resumes. We've got some great AI resume builders out there. How can people prepare for job interviews? I've seen some really cool virtual reality applications being used, helping people prepare questions and responses and working on their answers and help them eliminate the ums and ands and so forth. Honestly, you all probably know this stuff better than we do since you're the ones out there using it, but I just wanted to remind you, to be thinking about employment from the very beginning of sitting down with someone and talking about work. And then, of course, we've got on the job, and truly technology, going back. Technology is going to be your friend when you're thinking about baiting job coaching. How can you utilize technology for task prompting, time management? We've got the locators. We can help people work through conflicts with coworkers, build their social skills, remote job coaching. That's going to be really important for you all, and so forth. And so again, this list here isn't to be all inclusive. It's just to kind of prompt you to think of different places that you can start incorporating these different tools that you have at your access. Slide.
Good
All right,
morning,
I'm gonna turn
everyone.
it to my teammates. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Dee Granberry, West Tennessee, and as Carrie had stated, these are just examples of things that can be utilized to support members when seeking employment. So we wanted to kind of give you some examples of some software and apps that are out there. Some of you may be using some of these, some of you may not. But of course, in a virtual reality setting, it's fully immersing the person into an actual artificial experience through a computer generated environment. So it's somewhat like real time for them. And also with the creatability suite, there are multiple apps there that you can use, like the Employment Pathfinder, MeMinder, QMinder, AvaTalk, and Flourish, which gives prompts, allow you to video people and actually put those videos within the MeMinder app so that they can kind of visually see their steps, or any type of videos, not just of themselves, but videos and things like that can be uploaded into the apps with the MeMinder so that they are able to see what a task looks like, or if they need some just virtual conversations with remote supports, if they're receiving remote supports and things of that nature. And also utilizing like the reality garage that will simply help them gain knowledge about and develop skills about something that they may be interested in. So we also wanted to share with you, Hey Google, some of you may be using it, maybe not. Just simple voice commands that they can use to access or get help about certain information, just asking Google, what's the next step after completing a resume, or what should I wear to an interview process or interview session? Just asking those simple questions. And lastly, AbleLink utilizing Wayfinder, Endeavor, and Visual Impact. We know that Wayfinder is heavily used to help assist with transportation in the workforce, helping members get back and forth to work. Next slide, Jay. Also, we wanted to look at the travel independence as it relates to public transportation, travel training, navigating in real time. And also, one thing a lot of people probably aren't familiar with is the accessibility apps, in such a way that Access Now, the Access Now app, it actually shares accessibility information about places around the world. So if you wanted to know ahead of time if a building or a place that you wanted to go actually was accessible for your needs, you could ask the Access Now app and it will pull up that information and give you all the details about the building, so you would know how to navigate in and out of the building. And just kind of going back to the public transportation information, Google Transit app, the local transit apps, they're all available for people to be able to understand and help them navigate through their communities. Also, travel training. You have Florio and Reality Garage, which they'll assist you with showing you how to cross the road or any of the intersections, just street crossings and things of that. How to navigate through a fixed routine bus system or bus route. All of these things can be utilized with technology in assisting people on how to travel. Next slide, Jay. And then we just wanted to list a few devices, which again, some of you may already be using some of these. And like Carrie stated earlier, we know that technology is ever changing. Today it's one thing, tomorrow it's another. So of course the GeoComm device, which is a device that, you know, a member can press the button to remotely get assistance. The Meta glasses, the smart glasses have become a very unique piece of technology that more and more people are utilizing because you simply speak to the glasses and they can show you visually, or you know, you can hear um, whatever it is that you're requesting them to, the smart glasses to share with you. Any type of wearable activity trackers. We listed the Spencer, and we were kind of debating about the Spencer. It's like, how can that help? And I told, I was just sharing that a lot of times people medications, they may not need a medicine until 6 o'clock p.m., but they may have to report to work at 4. So learning and understanding the Spencer is very important to a person who works, because they'll need to be able to uh, have their medications dispensed prior to leaving and going to work. So that's important. We know that health is just as important as anything else when it comes to working. Smart watches are available, timers for prompting. Of course, many of these apps and most of these apps and softwares can be downloaded on our smartphones and iPhones, as well as, employers may not or may be okay with an individual utilizing a tablet or an iPad at work. So those apps and softwares can be also downloaded on those devices as well. The Apple HomePod, noise canceling headsets. We know that sometimes our people have issues or don't like loud noise, but noise canceling headsets would help in those environments where they may have a job setting that they love to do, but it's noisy. The Echo Dot and I'm sorry, the Amazon Dot and Echo Show, those are also some products that can be utilized. And then the virtual reality headsets. And of course, those headsets allow the people to utilize a lot of the virtual reality apps so that they can actually see what a job skill or a job task looks like before they actually go into that environment and utilize or gain willful employment in those areas. Next slide, Jay.
Okay, good afternoon. This is Allie Beth Freeman. I apologize, my camera is not connecting to my computer. So these are just some additional resources. Now, a lot of these are going to be more usable for like your job coaches, job developers, that kind of thing. But so like Disability In is a database of disability inclusive employers. These employers are rated. And so you can look through them. And I believe the scores range anywhere from like 80 to 100% as far as how they score. Mobility Hive is disability inclusive work from home jobs. Jan, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Jan. Honestly, Jan is just a hub of any resource I feel like you might need as it pertains to employment. Jan has a lot of really, really good stuff. Our American Job Center, I'm sure you guys are familiar with that as well. The Employer Assistance and Resource Network is geared more towards employers, but there is lots of helpful information, resources, trainings, that sort of thing available on Earn. Indeed, I don't know if you guys have previously used this for pre-employment or employment training, but there are so many resources that are free through Indeed, as far as resume building, interview training, really anything as it pertains to obtaining a job. There's also free resources on there about career development, career advancement, that sort of thing. Disability Pathfinder, I feel like we talk about this one a lot, but we just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that Pathfinder is available. Next slide, please. Okay, and windmills. If you have heard any of our team ever speak on anything, you have probably heard of windmills. So windmills is an employment disability inclusion training program. So this is a free training that we offer to employers, to college students, to almost anybody that will listen to us talk about windmills. We're going to do it. It is an interactive training that kind of creates a safe space for people to ask questions, raise issues, work through barriers, and collaborate together to form inclusive work environments. So while this is technically a employer-based training, so if you're working with an employer and they're just not getting it, or they're having issues, or you guys just aren't connecting, or they don't understand inclusion, this would be a really powerful training for them to go through. If you guys want to connect us directly to those employers, that would be great. But this is also a training that we can kind of customize to fit the needs of your agencies as well. If you've got new job coaches, or you have a new employment coordinator or whatever, we would be really happy to sit down with you guys and go through this training. If you guys are dealing with specific barriers, either with staff or with employers or anything community-based, we can customize it to fit what those needs are. Next slide, please. And this is just a breakdown of what Windmills is. So it's a 12-module program. However, you do not have to do all 12 modules. You could literally just pick module 5 or module 12 or whatever. They are interactive. I think that's a piece that a lot of people miss. This training is not you're going to sit and listen to us read a PowerPoint for an hour and then leave. It is a very big communication between trainers and participants. We also, again, can customize this to fit any sort of specific barrier if needed and if possible. I cannot recommend this training enough, truly. We try to tell absolutely any and everyone about this training. It is, again, free. Those are like the main words of this. Free training. If anyone is interested, please send us an email. We would be happy to connect with you. We would be happy to connect with employers that you're working with. Or if you have any specific needs or barriers that you need to work through, please let us know.
Thanks, Sally Beth. I'm going to talk just briefly about benefits counseling. I realize we're running to the end of our time frame here, but one of the most important services that we like to offer is benefits counseling, because that's the number one thing that we hear of concerns and hesitations about work is, how's it going to affect my benefits? I don't want to lose my check. I can't lose my TennCare. And so we have a team employed and ready to assist. We have people who will talk to them about everything from SSI, SSDI to Medicare, TennCare, even things like SNAP benefits. And we like to talk to people both before they're employed and also even during the process, so that we can see in real time what's going on and do an actual individualized assessment to make sure that they're getting the proper information to maintain the benefits that they need to have. When you work, another fear that people have is that they're going to lose money, and you never lose money when you work. You may lose a little bit of your check, but you always double that money in your earned income. And so we encourage people, even if they're not getting SSI at this point, to go ahead and meet with a benefits counselor, because there will come a time when they're likely going to need some sort of support in that way. And so I have included in the chat our form stack for benefits counseling. And then in our next slide, it will also have the detailed information for each region of the person that you can contact. So this is our contact information. You can reach each one of us via email. We're always happy to assist on an individual basis for anything that might be going on, employment or benefits related.
And before we move on, I just want to say again, thank you, team, for presenting. Thank you, everybody, for listening and for being here. I just want to reiterate one more time that we are here to support you all. Like, we are happy to come sit in on your meetings. We're here to, kind of help people get past that concern, help them understand what working could look like for them. And so please do reach out to us. And we will be more than happy to help you out. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Allison Moore, and I am the Director of Housing Innovation for DDA. So I just wanted to go over a little bit about our program and what we are working towards building. So our main reason, our why, what we're trying to do and accomplish is to create a new housing program that will help support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as older adults, have access to safe, affordable, and accessible housing opportunities in community integrated settings, navigate the resources and programs available to them, and work closely with other provider organizations and state agencies to develop a solution for the individuals that we support. So this is a brand new program that we are working to create and implement. And so we are just here, I'm just here to spread the word and ask for any feedback at the end. So next slide, please. So just some key data points that we have received in our partnership and collaboration with an organization called the Kelsey that I'll get into in a little bit. But approximately 33.4% of adults in Tennessee, so roughly 1.8 million people, live with a disability, a rate higher than the national average, and rates increase significantly with age and are even higher among Black, Indigenous, and people of color. And then 1 in 4 adults with disabilities in Tennessee lives in poverty, often surviving on fixed incomes like supplemental security income, which covers less than 20% of the area median income. So in every county in the state, the cost of renting a 1-bedroom apartment exceeds the full monthly SSI benefit, making stable housing unattainable without assistance. So our idea for our housing innovation program includes 3 different levels of service. So the individual and family level, the provider and housing organization level, and then the systems level. For the individual and family level, we envision directly helping individuals, family members, circles of support when and if they reach out to DDA with a barrier that they may be facing. So whether that's locating a place to live, interested in finding a roommate, wanting to move from a current living situation, maybe it's just not working out, understanding housing benefits programs and assistance applying if applicable, and understanding the housing market. So if there is any issue, barrier, or housing goal that someone needs help with, we will be there to help them navigate that. If we don't have the answer ourselves, we want to be sure to be able to direct them to the right place and get them connected. And you will not have to be receiving DDA services to be assisted or receive guidance. For the provider and housing organizations level, we are looking to assist and to coordinate housing resources and collaborate in the best way possible. So how can we help providers locate housing opportunities for people that they're supporting, working with housing developers to create more affordable, accessible housing options for individuals with IDD and older adults? So providing education, what does maybe for housing developers, if they're working on a new project, what are some more inclusive design standards that they can take into consideration, things like that. What can we do to use our leverage, position, and resources and incentives to help make sure that developers have a pathway and know what the needs are? So simple things that can be done that aren't going to cost more in the grand scheme of things as far as design and development goes, but that can make a huge difference for someone looking for accessible housing. On the systems level, we are wanting to collaborate with other state agencies. So agencies like the Department of Health, the Department of Mental Health, THDA, to help every agency be aware of what's out there as far as housing resources go and how to access them, providing information and resources to legislators and policymakers, potentially requesting funding for a proposal, and if something doesn't exist, then really trying to work to create that. So our plan and hope for the housing positions for this program, obviously we have our Director of Program Innovation, Jeremy Norden-Paul, myself, and then hopefully we'll have 3 regional community housing navigators. So 1 in Middle, East, and West. We have welcomed our middle community housing navigator, Erin Garcia, on just within the last week. So she is getting acquainted and really just throwing her in. So, and then a housing research and policy specialist, and then a MAPS housing and independence specialist. So one of the big steps that we've taken to really help us create and develop this program is a partnership with an organization called the Kelsey. They are a nationally respected expert in disability forward and inclusive cross disability housing. So they act as developers for their own housing projects while also being consultants for people all across the state or all across the country. And so a few ways that they have helped us and will continue to help us is conducting a housing needs and program assessment report. That we have received the draft and we are just waiting on the final product of that to be sent over to us, and then that will be sent out to whoever is interested, and creating a 5-year strategic housing plan for us at DDA that will outline disability forward housing initiatives, developing a budget proposal and policy program for a potential pilot program, hoping to really collaborate and work with THDA on something, and then they planned and hosted a convening with many stakeholders to get insights that we were looking for and help us best develop a plan moving forward. So that took place at the Disability Mega Conference a few weeks ago. So the Kelsey has been working to hear from the people of Tennessee, either doing the work or with lived experience, to help develop the housing program needs assessment report that they will be getting to us. Some of the sessions that were held, many of you may have participated in them, were a housing developer and designer roundtable discussion, an HCBS roundtable discussion, 2 listening sessions with and for disabled residents and their support people. They conducted a disability forward housing survey, and then they formed a steering committee that was made up of about 11 individuals with different experiences in housing services and the disability ecosystem. So their input was really beneficial to them in some of this planning. So how to be involved? We want all the input. So I want to hear from all of you. These are just some questions to consider, and always feel free to reach out to myself, Erin, Jeremy, as things come up. So some of the main questions that I like to hear from people on are, what are the biggest challenges and barriers that you or the people you work with experience when it comes to housing? Obviously, cost, lack of affordable housing are the main ones, but anything else that may come to mind. What should DDA be doing when it comes to housing? Are there any innovative solutions that you've seen in relation to housing that you think that we should consider or look into? Who else should we talk to? Who would you recommend us speaking to? And what do you believe the answer to the housing crisis is, if there was a magic wand that could solve all the problems? So how to be involved, whatever is the best way for all of you to stay involved, what works best for you. We want to be solutions focused and be in the know. And like I said, please reach out to us with any recommendations or suggestions or resources that you may come across. There's so many out there that if you're not on, the right email chains or things like that you may not know about. So always willing and appreciate any sort of feedback and communication on that. So here is our contact information for myself and Erin, and then Jeremy as well. But I appreciate Jay, you letting me share, and please reach out with any questions.
Thank you, Allison. So just some end of year reminders. MAPS invoicing, get your billing in. Try to make sure that your billing is as accurate as possible as well to prevent any kind of issues with payment. The VCRM, anyone enrolled after May the 1st should be using the new VCRM platform. Anyone still using the Google Maps VCRM platform, please submit those validations to CLC by August the 30th. So we've got a little bit of an update on the referral process. So we've had 180 successful provider matches. Thank you all so much for getting in your matches quickly and communicating with our stakeholders. We've had positive feedback from our stakeholders, but we're going to continue to make the process better. We're working towards ensuring the participants have the best experience possible. We have a survey that will be sent out to providers soon regarding interest in completing an informational video for participants. And then we're kind of working on what the parameters of the video will look like. And then just another reminder, if you're meeting with a participant and it's outside of the 15-day timeline, please let your transition guide know. Quick project updates. So Bree is still working on the PSCP plan development and the annual plan. Also, she is the project manager for the peer mentoring project. I am working on the IC solicitation. We're hoping that that will go out. We're thinking the end of August. Referral process, working on the participant experience, also looking at the scorecards. So the scorecards is something we're going to be doing to see how we can best support our providers. And then working on a monthly resource recording for stakeholders. So we'll just have different resources for stakeholders. The first one is going to be done with Christy Philly, our tech champ for West Tennessee, on what the phone is and how to use the phone. And then Carly, she is working on the virtual service resource guide. I think she is finishing that up. We're really excited that we're going to have that resource. Stakeholder Advisory Committee, first meeting started in June. Just a reminder, we need some more members, and then the continued VCRN progression. And just some general DDA program update, CMS amendment request, MAPS program resource manual, quality assurance program development, an independent housing initiative. Go to the next slide, Jay. And if you are in East Tennessee, you've already received some holds for these, but just make sure you guys are marking your calendars for these upcoming meets. So we have a transition guide exploration series. CNS and Breakthrough are going to tell us how they're doing in their agency of flexible milestones and also expansion. On 7/25, CLC is going to be doing some more training on pre-claim processing. On 8/29, Transition Tennessee is going to be here. And 9/26, we've got that open, it looks like. So if you guys have anyone that you would like to learn more about, or if you are interested in presenting, please let us know. Jay will send out the link to those meetings, the usually the Monday or Tuesday of. So please make sure you're putting these in your calendar as a hold. And that is it. Any questions that we can answer for you?
I don't see any more in the chat. I would say we can go ahead and wrap up. Just a big thank you to Carrie and your team. As always, your expertise is just a breath of fresh air, and we're all so motivated to pursue employment opportunities, and just continuing to hear what you guys are doing in that space is just really, really helpful. Thank you so very much. Allison, tremendous. I know what it's like creating a program, and you find yourself in that situation as well. You're essentially building it from the ground up, and what we put together so far is pretty darn exciting. And so I can hear some of the shaping of our housing approach coming together. It really will take there's a lot of wonderful minds on this call right now, a lot of wonderful experience in delivering services, delivering residential supports. And so, I really wanted this group to actively get to know you, get to hear you, and see exactly where we're going with some of that, so that some of those conversations can continue to help us shape what that looks like. Everyone else, I hope you have a great rest of your Friday, a wonderful week. Rest assured, stay warm, or stay cool and stay hydrated out there, guys. Have a great weekend, and we will see you later. Bye, guys.